What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video. This is your host of Everybody Hates Black Men, Edward Anderson. And this is Infomercial Hour, where we'll keep it real even when it hurts. And this is an interesting video today. This is going to be a response or an add on to Kevin Samuels' video that he did, he recently uploaded, talking about what about the black women that are raising these girls. And I would highly suggest you all check out this video clip. It actually has two interviews that are really really good. One is of a young black woman, one is of an old another black mother. And I'm not going to tell you what happened so much in the video. It's pretty standard. What I will say is it does definitely prove the later interview definitely proves that there is a sister code that is very powerful, very strong. That gynocracy is very real in these women's minds, and if it's real in these women's minds, then you know it's real in these dudes' minds when they have an actual financial incentive. So once again, the gynocracy is proven to be very real and very valid. The hidden hand that nobody wants to talk about, you know. And so I wanted to take this conversation, and it sounds like a lot of times that I'm attacking Black love. It's not so much me attacking Black love; it's more so me holding what people say accountable. Black people are used to using slogans, and they do this as a mechanism to not have to take personal accountability for their own decisions, for their own choices. So they look for things that allow them to pawn their shit off. Now, is this all black people in all areas of activity? No. We're talking about the activity of relationships. And this is so you can be accountable in other things because you're going to be made to be held accountable, but still be completely unaccountable in your relationship because there's really nothing that's really holding you accountable other than what people are already programmed. And that's very apparent. If you actually listen to the woman in the second interview, that becomes very apparent to what she is held accountable to and her efforts in fighting against that, her valiant efforts. And I feel bad for her, like Kevin said, because truth be told, that is the gynocracy. That is the problem. And that is what a lot of these women will not talk about. So I invite you all to go watch that interview. Now, coming back to the Black Love piece. Um, well, I'm not gonna lie. I was Anton is uploading clips of like his interview with the Sixth Goddess. So generally she wants to be like the main arbiter of Black Love or the flagship person for Black Love. And again, I don't have an issue with Black Love. I do have an issue with Black Love. I'm not saying this is what she's doing, but I have seen this, and you can read for it what you will. But Black Love, when somebody talks to me about Black Love, if somebody were to bring that up with me, I've had somebody actually ask me what is my opinion on Black Love in a casual conversation, in a casual date. And first thing in my mind that popped up is, bitch, what? I'm here with you. What the fuck do you think? But that's not what I said. What I said is, and to, buy myself some time, I said, really? You're going to ask me about Black love? That sounds like kind of a forward question. I say that shit as a mechanism to buy myself time to think. But I asked her, but after that, I said, but look, I'll answer your question. So I'll answer your question with a question. Or I'll say this: what I think about Black love is Black love. I used to say this statement as with ADOS people and culture. This is before like the terminology ADOS was used, but I would say when you look at non-African American blacks, I often say that their culture goes as far as a white person. So they'll throw their culture in our face, but the truth is, as soon as a white person gets involved, no matter what level of status that white person is, their culture goes out the window for the most part, or they're willing to sacrifice pieces of their culture to go for what they believe is better, which is AKA that white person. You especially see this with the women that are typically arbiters of culture. Now, I didn't answer this thoroughly with her because it's a date, so I'm not monologuing on a date. But I said it kind of in a joking way. But what I did ask her is, my question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for me under the gambit of Black love? Because that's the value of Black love to me. That's how I measure it. What are you willing to sacrifice? Now, before you say anything, if Your responses, all of the what I call now black girl isms as to what you think you already do, that right there is your answer as far as how strong black love is. Right there. And she pondered that for a minute. She pondered that for a minute. And I could tell she regretted asking me that damn question. Because what she expected me to do is simp for some pussy. It was a shit test. That's really what she expected me to do. Because she was one of these like, wannabe hoteps. And yeah, she was new to the game to the point where she was bright eyed, which is like one of those things where if I wanted to like go all in on that with her, I don't do that shit. Like some people call that game, I understand that, but I don't believe in doing that shit. And then if I don't fuck, I'm gonna be mad. So no. So I said straight up what I thought. Because she doesn't really she didn't really understand. But this is when I come back to well, a lot of women talk about black love. Black love is a feeling. It's not grounded in any kind of real tangible sacrifices that black women are willing to make for their man. It's not. It's not. And here's the thing. The first thing people will talk about, and let me tell you, because they'll say, "Oh, but just because somebody ain't sacrificed for you, it ain't because blah blah blah." That's the first reaction people want to give. Okay, here's the problem. If you're doing something for someone because you're in lust with them, not love but lust. This is why motherfuckers like to jump from relationship to relationship, or they like to stay in toxic, quote unquote, toxic love, because that's what a lot of black women identify as love, even though that's counterproductive to their own femininity. But my point is, if you are making these sacrifices because your sexual attraction is at extremely high, there's no sense of duty. It's sexual attraction. It's hypersexual. It's not even sexual attraction. It's hypersexual attraction, or it's like hyper lust that you are confused with love because you haven't been properly understand what that is. That's going to create problems. By the way, that's how baby mamas are created. Because the easiest thing to do to a dude in order to secure him and a woman that's a single mother minded is just have his baby. If you have his baby, he's going to feel about that baby like I feel about that baby, not understanding men don't have biological imperatives to do that like women do. And he's going to stay and he's going to change. I got the dude I want, so let me go ahead and have his baby and then put up with some shit. And shit. Like, this is why they stay doing that dumb shit over and over and over again. So my point is, that's not what I'm talking about. This is why, when Kevin talks about love is not marriage is not about love, it's about duty. Why black women balk at that shit? Because they literally don't. They can't but most of them cannot comprehend that because that's something they've never been shown. Now I don't give a fuck if they've never been taught it, because people like to say, well, because you've never been taught something, that's like an excuse. That's not an excuse. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You don't get to claim that when you're in court. You still broke. Even at point blank period. Or you still people are have every right to make a decision on you based on what you are or are not doing. But my point that I want to hold on is they'll go to certain things like black love to like declare what men should sacrifice for them. That's really what it's for. It's not for what women should do for men. It's for what men should do for them. AKA, I selected you because I'm sexually attracted to you, like extremely sexually attracted to you. So therefore, you should mold yourself to what I want you to be. Crimson Cure talked about this when she talked about a guy needs to know how to let a woman run a relationship. How black women think men need to learn how to let not she said that how black women think. She was analyzing what black women think, and I'll share the video prior to later today. But she was talking about, this was a while ago she did this video. It's like a 10-minute video, 13-minute video, how she like black women expect black men to play different roles. Like they expect black men to be the Dwayne Wayne role, and then later on when they get into their like 50s and 60s, them to convert into the leader role at that point when they're tired and they don't want to run shit no more. It's completely fucking insane, but it made absolute sense that that's what how black women think, and they want all that in one man. And how she said that doesn't exist in one man. That's just not how men are wired. But this is what black women want, and combine that with BTS's work on matriarchal mating pattern, it makes sense as to why. I mean, it's completely fucked up. But these are the things that they'll call black love. Like there is no accountability to black love. Black love is not this ideal that you need to be. You need to, you. It's not you being an adult and sacrificing some things you want for this greater thing. Women are extremely self. They don't think about that. I'm talking about the women that talk about black love. They don't think about that. So they'll hide behind these platitudes like, oh, well, a real feminine woman or a masculine man. That's just another way of saying what a real man would do. It's game. And it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to. Black love doesn't. It's just like being pro-black and being hotep is like a joke now, because you've got people on here that they apply their bullshit to it. Like straight up, black love is not this thing you get to enter into. It's about duty. Black women that were the most married, they can talk about that. You can't can we really, is it really black? Should title this video, is it really black love or is it black lust? Because I don't think black people really understand the difference between love and lust. I don't think, especially now, I don't think they understand that. Let me tell you what the difference is, duty. That's the difference. You measure love in what you are sacrificing for someone, not in what you want from someone. Let me say that again for the motherfuckers in the back. You measure love by what you sacrifice for someone, or at least willing to, and really fuck willing to. I mean, you actually do. You don't measure that by what you want from someone. Yeah, what's up, Marty? I had to go to CVS because I had to get something, man. I had to get something 24-hour CVS, so that's cool. I know what it's like to be at the airport, man. So, being able to tune in and hear this shit, especially this late at night, them red eyes and shit. I'm sure that's one of the beautiful things about this space, man. You could be anywhere in the world and then motherfuckers might be on. You just never know, especially when you got people in different time zones. That's why I used to like to talk to a lot of Asian dudes, because not Asian dudes, but the black dudes in like Philippines or the black dudes that are in Asia, because they could pop on and it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning for them, but it'd be like, like 2 o'clock in the afternoon for us. Shout out to them 12-hour, 13-hour time zones. It's a beautiful thing about the manosphere. It's 4:22 where I'm at in the morning. Like I said, I had to go to a 24-hour thing. I had to get some. I couldn't wait. So anyway, but my point. So I decided to jump this on, have a quick conversation with you all as a reaction to that Kevin Samuels video, because it really highlights some key points in a very real and focused way. And again, I'm not against black love, but what I am against is black bullshit. And like you all know, sexual politicking is the name of the game. And what people like to do is they like to use things like ADOS, pro-black, black love as mechanisms to sexually politic. What is sexually politicking? It is the art of trying. It is the process of trying to get the maximum return on investment for your womb. So it's the idea that women are always campaigning to get the maximum return on investment on their womb. That is female nature. There's nothing wrong with that. But so they use deception or campaigns as it's kind of like, I shared that white boy, that Steven dude, that white guy. I don't mean to say white boy like that. The white guy, because somebody say black boy, I'd be pissed. The white guy, that does the everything I do has a reason to it. It may seem random. It may seem like I'm running my mouth just to be running my mouth. Yeah, a lot of times I'm freestyling, but even I freestyle with a purpose. My freestyle streams of consciousness yields a lot more value than what most of these motherfuckers sitting there thinking methodically, and y'all know this anyway. And I don't mean to be arrogant, but it just is what it is. Anyway, I shared that dude that talked about the internet marketing stuff and broke down the gurus for a reason. I shared that because I wanted you all to still learn to apply that to how women campaign for resources in exchange for their womb, or the possibility of sex, book written by Alan Roger Curry. And so if you take the book Possibility of Sex and then you look at, okay, what is practical examples as to how somebody does this in maybe another market, so we can take the females out of it. Because keep in mind, that dude for the most part is really talking about dudes, although he has gone after women as well. It allows you to show how people market things in a certain type of way in order to raise the value of something that otherwise is not worth what they say is worth. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with everything he says, but what I am saying is it gives you a very clear understanding and idea as to how that happens, why it happens, and how effective it is. Now, we're talking about men selling other men or men selling people, selling men and women, as far as things like this. So if you go through a lot of his videos, because honestly, I went through a lot of his channel. I absorbed his channel like relatively quickly. I'll put some on 1.5, 1.75 playback speed and go to town if it's something I'm really interested in. That's how women do it. And they use certain things. I'm not saying that women to talk like, I'm not trying to say that you can't be a Black Love influencer. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, as men, we have to learn how to filter that shit through logic. Because Black Love is, by definition, an emotional concept. And it's a concept, it's designed to elicit emotion. And love is a very powerful emotion. And when you understand how Black men have traditionally viewed Black women and still view Black women today, you understand you're very vulnerable to concepts like this. And Black women know this. This is why they'll also put in words like even in sales, if you create what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. There's certain concepts that people do as a mechanism to get people to buy things. Like one of the things that people will do, this is a very insidious sales tactic, but it happens, is if you're in a group setting, what some people will do, and this really kind of should be legal, but what they'll do is if somebody doesn't want to buy a package, it can be $5,000, $6,000. What they do is if you leave, they make you feel bad. Now, this I have not personally seen this happen, but I've heard that this has happened. This does happen. Well, they'll make you feel bad about leaving. They'll use the group as a mechanism to keep you in line. Does that sound familiar to you all? And that's a mechanism of keeping the individuals, a form of peer pressure. They'll call them a loser, call them this. So when women start to challenge your masculinity, or they try to question it, or they try to say like this is what real men or masculine men do, or I'm not saying they don't have a right to say that, but understand there's also other reasons as to why they do that. And it may be conscious. I'll give them the fact it actually may be subconscious, or it may be just culture, but it is what it is. And as a man, you still got to process that. You see, you would never. I got a question for you. When have you ever heard a Black woman say that masculine men don't raise another man's kids? Press 2 if you've never heard that. Press 1 if you've heard that. I'm waiting. I don't give honestly, man. Ty City can say what he wants to say. I give no fucks about, really. Ultimately, I don't care about what Ty City has to say. I give him respect when he says something that I agree with. When I don't, I don't. He wants to talk greasy about me, he can. But at the end of the day, Ty City hasn't been in this space long enough. And I said this before. That's why I'm gonna say it again, because shout out to Red Supreme. Red Supreme said that y'all dudes will sit there and bring up somebody else as a mechanism to get people to start shit. But I will say this, because I've said this to Ty City directly while he's on like in my chat. Ty City hasn't been in this space long enough to have a fucking opinion about what I do. And that's just straight up like that. Ty City's been in this space for fucking 2 years, and he thinks he actually has a right to comment on what people do. If you notice, I may have my opinions, but I mute myself on a lot of shit out of respect for certain people, and then understanding part of it is the business, and part of it is it really that big of a deal? Is it really that big of a deal? And ultimately, it's up to the audience to be smart. But And that's why Ty City got people like Fantastic on his ass, you know. So I'm not Ty, shout out to DJ Kuda, but a lot of them they need to be careful. Like I told Ty City, you need to go ahead and get that gun channel on and stop worrying about what the fuck I'm saying and stop trying to comment on the manosphere like he actually has. Because here's the problem with that. I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna leave it alone. When you start talking shit about the manosphere all the time, you attract an audience that likes that content. And then when you need to switch up, then your audience doesn't like that and that fucks you over. That's general that's what happens when people do that. So you got to be real careful about making a whole bunch of commentary on the manosphere. Now, I've always made it very clear that I'm not anti-woman. I've made it clear that I believe that in accountability on both sides. I've made it very clear that I reserve the right to bring women on my channel. I run my channel the way I fucking want to. I do what I do. If I don't give a fuck about, I'm not necessarily beholden to the quote unquote manosphere because I am me first. And I've always been consistent with that. I've never been one of these ones, even with the gynocracy, I got that 80-20 rule, whether you all agree with it or not. I've never been one to just make my channel off of just completely trying to tell you all, you know, I tell you all, there's no one size fits no one size fits all solution. And what you do is ultimately up to you. I just give you options based on my own experience that you all can basically file in your file cabinet to make a decision based on what you ultimately want to do. I've always been that way. My problem, what people tend to have a problem with me, and this is something that happened with Smurgo in the chat, like in the comment section, by the way, just to take it off Ty City, because I don't know what the fuck he said, but he's done videos on me. So it is what it is. But ultimately, like I was sharing Crimson Cure. Now, all of y'all in my chat knows who Kendra D is. Y'all know her reputation. And Smurgo's 19. And Smurgo can't understand, oh, well, you just keep on sharing women and this, that, and the third. Now, this is a guy that will sit there and pretty much kiss Love Dorsey's ass, eat her ass crap. I want y'all to understand that. This is a guy that he promotes, like, probably outside of me. He probably like outside of, like, he probably Love Dorsey's biggest fan is probably in my chat. And I'm not saying that to be bad because I like Love Dorsey. But my point is, you gotta ask. It's like, so, dude, if I'm sharing Love Dorsey, you don't have a problem because you like her. But you remember what I've always said about when dudes like shit, they give everything a pass. Tommy Sotomayor is actually a perfect example of that, which is why dudes got to stop filtering shit through their emotions and not logic. He should know that if I say that somebody's got more credibility, a female's got more credibility, 70% of people in this space, that should tell you something, because I've never said that about any woman. But he don't know. He don't listen to that. He just see this is a person with a vagina, a female. And so therefore he thinks he has the right to comment on me. And look, y'all can criticize me, but there's certain shit that, like, y'all shouldn't even be questioning me on. Like, oh, well, you're sharing a woman. And it's like, dudes actually believe they have the right to try to police this space. See, this is one thing I want y'all to really understand. And this is true for content creators. This is true for the audience. You all have every right to listen to what I'm saying. You all have a right to not listen to to what I'm saying. You all have every right to unsubscribe from my channel. Outside of that, you have no rights. You have no rights. The reality is, some of you all get it twisted where you all actually believe you can police what I do. Let me give you an example. I can have my opinions on a video here and a video there, but I'm not going to be in a comment section of somebody actually trying to tell them what they should or should not do about their channel. I'm talking like, let's imagine if I try to do that with Steph is Cold, or I say, well, I like what you do, but you should do this, 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 and this. Like that's literally what some of y'all be thinking y'all could do. And I'm like, where does the mindset come into play where y'all think that's some appropriate shit? Sure, you can see me in email with an opinion. I get that, but it's not just about y'all saying it like once or twice. Some of y'all will really think y'all are trying to check me. And it's like, ultimately, I do what I do, and that's what I do. Just like when I talk a lot and I monologue, as reasons I do what I do. You don't have to hear it. That's why, but like even when Obsidian was trying to sit there and say, "Well, you tend to come here and come back, and then you have a dialogue." I do that because I know how I am in this space, so I see myself out, so I do that for the audience. But I'm not gonna, and also I'm not gonna have a dialogue that's really like a debate. When somebody keeps on wanting to create a debate and they want to lock you into a conversation, especially when I know what's being said is a little bit disingenuous. So people want to try to lock people in this like tug of war battle. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. You can have the floor, make your points to try to dismantle it, and then let the audience be the ultimately judge of what's being said. And it don't matter if they think I'm right or not, because I don't need everybody to think I'm right. I need the right people to think to understand I'm right, which is who the information's for. Because I don't really give a shit if people believe me or not. But ultimately, he has every right to say what the fuck you want to say. You know, he had the opportunity to come on my channel, Ty City, when I was grilling him on the video he did. All he chose to do was say, "Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe this." Just like when he was talking greasy about Kwame Brown on Red Supreme shit. That was Ty City. Red Supreme was playing what Ty City was playing about him. And what did Kwame Brown do? Kwame Brown has 350,000 subscribers. Kwame Brown went on a channel that has 2,000 subs. Shout out to Red Supreme. And I shared that video with you all, and he basically gave what the real was. Because people were trying to say, well, your word is bond, and just because we don't shake hands. What he was saying was a statement. I get what he was saying. What he was saying was it wasn't a fucking binded contract. And he could have got back at him, and motherfuckers want to really blow that up to like he's breaking his word. As if you niggas, some of you project motherfuckers, are like the most honorable. This is coming from somebody that I have a code of honor. I've sacrificed shit. That I've basically took a lot of L's for doing shit the right way. But see, I would be called a lame for that. But these will be the same people that have a nerve to speak words like honor, code, word is bond. Fuck out of here. Anyway, now also, yeah, that is what that is. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, and like I said, nothing of what I've said is anything I haven't told Ty City when he's in my chat. But like I was going back to with the black love thing, and I told y'all once, and I'm gonna tell y'all again, I don't give a fuck what these motherfuckers say. If they really got something to fucking say, then you know what? They'll say it to my fucking face. And if they can't, well, there's a reason for that. So anyway, and here's the irony. I'm gonna leave this with this. Here's the irony. You know what the irony is? Ty City talks greasy about me. How many times have I shared Ty City's channel on my platform? I don't get no benefit from that. This is after Ty City tried to ambush me about Kevin Samuels, which by the way is on some greasy ass shit. Trying to lock me in this lockbox saying Kevin Samuels is a feminist because he talks about fucking cologne brands and shit. I've shared his channel after that. So understand that what people do is not necessarily representative of what I'm gonna do. Y'all need to observe little things like that. And these will be the main people trying to say that motherfuckers be promoting bitches over dudes because they're trying, again, that's that politicking shit. That's that politicking shit. They want ways to try to manipulate, and it doesn't matter if it's a small channel or a large channel. They wanna manipulate people to try to do shit that's in their best interest rather than actually asking for it. There's people that email me and are offering, they pay me to share their shit, even though I've never accepted money for sharing people's channels. But I have accepted money for people coming on my platform and talking. And no, I've never accepted money from a woman doing that. Those are only dudes. But people pay me to do some of the shit that I do for them for free. Like when I share people's channels, when they come up, when they just happen to pop on my shit, people have paid me to do that. But so there is a monetary value of that. So and I ain't got a lot of subscribers, but I got a good viewership. I mean, what is it? I got almost 50 people on here. It's 4:30 at night. Some people can't pull that shit unless they running their mouth about somebody else. They can't pull that shit during the day. Y'all don't even like. I can pull 150 people just saying, "Huh, HUHHHHH." That's not me tooting my horn. I'm just saying I actually have a viewership. And shout out to you guys. That's another reason why I don't bring a lot of my affiliate marketing in space. Because if somebody were to question my affiliate marketing skills, I'm gonna fucking shut their crypto shit down. I'm gonna end it. I'm telling you that right now. Like if somebody comes at me playing that, well, affiliate marketing ain't the business, it's really crypto. If I ever started to really put my business with you all, I'm going to expose them and I'm going to destroy them. We're going to play big bank, little bank real quick. Like real quick. And that goes to anybody. Anybody. And I know a lot of dudes are very emotional when it comes to crypto. Like perfect example. Like think about, and I'm gonna say it just like this. And I'm talking about anybody that likes to talk about crypto. Crypto in like 3-4 weeks went from 60,000 to like fucking 35,000. Now what did I say? I said that I was gonna wait until that bitch got back down to like 30, 35, 32. It's hovering right around there. Now all y'all niggas that invested in cryptocurrency, um, because them niggas they didn't tell y'all when y'all shouldn't, when y'all should hold, when y'all should wait. It's not a good time to buy in, but it's a good time to learn. Maybe it's a good time to invest in altcoins. No, they don't tell you that. They tell you buy, 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 buy. That's what they tell you. Now, how many of you niggas lost money because of that shit? Are they gonna take the L for that? Nope. Anyway, I want to get off that topic because that's not what this video is about. Like I said, your channel is legit and exposing the guy. And actually, yeah, black men need to build, but let's understand who are we building for. Well, I mean, the thing about building, first of all, black men don't build for black. Okay, this is the first thing that people need to fucking understand. Black men don't build for women. Men build for themselves. Part of building is the byproducts of building is using is being having something to offer women for their compliance. But the reality is, man, Hispanics ain't really built shit. Latin America was built by whites, not Hispanics, for the most part. So this idea that like, this building shit, what black women believe building is basically, they get to move in, they get to nest in it. Black women don't believe in doing shit. They really don't. And again, what are you willing to sacrifice for having a community built around you? Every woman understands that to a certain extent. It's only African American women that don't. And see, this is why you understand that how we were forged together. How we were forged together, we were bred. So we don't come from an organic group. So it makes sense as to why they think the way they think. So going back to the black love piece, like I said, the biggest thing I want you all to pull from this is black love is measured by what you're willing to sacrifice. If you're going to talk about black love as a concept, the question is, what are you willing to sacrifice for? If you look at it aspirationally as another mechanism of I want it all, then that's not black love. That's not black love. That's not black love. You see, because if a black man wants to be if a black man is a stepdaddy, that's black love. Because a black man is sacrificing for that, especially if he don't got kids. Not black love is not measured in what you want. Black love is measured in what you're willing to sacrifice. That's the method. Then you notice how Boyce Watkins can always talk about what black men need to do, but he never says what black women need to sacrifice. You've never heard it come out of his mouth what black women need to sacrifice. And I ask you all again because we got thrown off with talking about what Ty City said. I don't give a damn about what Ty City said. Ty City's channel is built around him talking shit about a whole bunch of other motherfuckers. And I didn't like that when Obsidian was doing it, and I don't like that when new motherfuckers are doing that. But I asked you all, when have you heard a black woman say that a masculine man will not raise another man's kids? You will never hear black women say a masculine man will not do X, Y, or Z if it is not beneficial to the sisterhood. You will never hear that. You will never hear that because that's not the code. So no matter what variety, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I can share certain women because I'm not afraid. Understand something? This is what a lot of you all need to get. I don't care how attractive a woman is. I'm not afraid. Some of y'all are scared of women. Some of y'all are scared of standing on y'all square and y'all are afraid for losing pussy. Like even when it comes to somebody you may never meet in person online, you all still have this knee jerk reaction to want to say some shit, to want to y'all have this knee jerk reaction to want to please a bitch. And so as a result, the way you all deal with that is you all do it like what alcoholics do. I can't have one drink because if I have one drink, I'm gonna lose it. That's how y'all apply to women. So when you hear dudes that like to tell me why y'all sharing this, why y'all sharing that, I mean you should be able to, spit out, eat the meat and spit out the bones, but y'all can't do that, and that's a big reason why you have a lot of dudes. They may be personally like this, or they may have a very like a fear that other dudes are like this, which is true. So even if they're not personally like it, they have this belief. They know other black men can't handle it, so they say you got to keep women out this space because dudes are gonna do what dudes do. Well, as far as I'm concerned, if the manosphere, if that's how fragile the manosphere is, then the manosphere shouldn't exist, and y'all just need to go ahead and be cucks. And then the dudes that don't want to be that need to just go ahead and lead a community. The community doesn't need to exist if it's that fragile. I don't believe in protecting shit that's fragile. I don't believe that. I believe it's stress testing shit. I don't believe it shit's too big to fail. I believe if it can't stand little shit like that, it doesn't deserve to exist. But like I said before, you will never hear women say that. That's why when they talk about masculinity and what a real man is, that's another form of manipulation and sexual politics. If that's saying everybody that does that, no. But even women that talk in good faith, and I've even called this out, they still fall into that. Because ultimately what they want is black men to do 100% of everything. Because even a lot of the black women that are quote unquote good women, they're afraid of these chicks. Because these zombies like Umbrella and Resident Evil, these women don't care. They don't care. Because society validates their chaos to whatever degree that is. Anyway, let me go through y'all comments and I'm be done. What's up, NC Worker? Pharaoh made by Ruben. Young J, Skillmonger, Roger Report Live, Jim Rat, Marty McFly. Yeah, I appreciate. Yep, Marty McFly moves around the time. Yeah, man, I remember when I was in Reagan International about this time after getting off of this was years ago, but after getting off of a fucking 15. It was a flight from Tokyo to fucking Reagan. That was a 15-hour flight. I hated that shit. And then I had to wait another 4 hours just to fly 30 fucking minutes to get here. Man. And then I wasn't tired. That's how crazy. Anyway, Texas, Cali, bro. I literally just left the 24-hour TBS. I had to pick up some Epsom salt and icy hot. Yeah, shout out to that. Split Spark. I don't mean to start stuff. You have to touch it. I only support black love between black American men. Ha, that's funny. Jim Rat, Spencer Cornelia. Yeah, Spencer Cornelia is the white guy I'm talking about. There's a reason I share that shit. It's so y'all can see that outside of necessarily the gender context. So you can understand that the principles that I'm talking about doesn't apply just here. It applies outside of it. What's up, Ray? Hana, the Hana Force. Make sure y'all hit me up on the Cash App, y'all. NC Work. Okay, so y'all put 222. Yeah, y'all have never heard of that. Joe Johnson, you got a money machine. Compton's in the house. What's up, G Rock? Shout out to the Minguez Hospital, 1986. Sacrifice is coming for feminism and anyone tied to a familiar. What's up, Adam Williams? Longo Savage, Omega Dreads, Rob Cypher. There are the same people that will try to tell their favorite football team which plays they should run as if they're exact. Well, I mean, yeah, but we know that's fun. but motherfucker, they know they can't control that. That's kind of how you enjoy the game. But I get what you're saying. Adam Williams, why do these women continue calling? Because they can't help it. Dusty Shackelford. Nothing happened. I'm just talking. Good men. Um, Megan Dress Superman even realized I can't save humanity from high. That's funny. Shout out to Injustice. Nest in it, yes. Yeah, I mean, even Christy said one time that black men should build it so they run it. This is how they really think. And women like that are compatible for nothing except nothing in their mouth. Um that's all they're compatible for. And that's why they are where they are. So it's like you have to defeat white supremacy according to synthetic. No, the problem you don't like that that's a all that is that's a send off mission. Of course she's gonna say that. Of course she's gonna say that. And it's like, okay, so let's start with all the motherfuckers that are in there that are inbreeding with white supremacy. Let's start with your fucking family. Let's start with that. See, she'll say that, and all her siblings are married to white people. Do you really think Cynthia G will go to a family function and say this bullshit? Cynthia G is hustling. You're going to live. You're going to live Bernard's early morning show. Haha, black excellent. Black women feel like they own black men. Shout out to Adam. Goodman Boyce Walker was in the comments of his IG replying to black men and refusing to reply to black women. Of course. Of course. I mean, this is like one of the things that really pissed me off about Boyce Watkins is he let that Black Man United fall off. All he had to do was let Andre Hatchett run that. Look, Boyce Watkins is an agent of the gynocracy. If the gynocracy falls, somebody like Boyce Watkins is not going to be successful. Like I've come to that conclusion, and I hate saying that because that goes against a lot of the group economic stuff that he stands for. But he's an agent of the gynocracy. I mean, he's a slave to it. Synthetic G is a complaint. I don't give a fuck about Synthetic G. Kwame Brown is live. I've literally seen Synthetic G go from CK a bandwidth to asking black women. So yeah, a lot of these people are hustling for money, yo. She's got 75,000, 65,000. She unfortunately she'll be good, but a lot of these people are hustling, and you know what? People are stupid. Dudes want to hear that. There's a market for that, and that's why motherfuckers talk about my man with the late night stream. Yeah. When they say a real man, not little boys, etc., they politics. Exactly. And so y'all gotta hear that. And the thing is, you don't have to take that seriously. Like that shit only matters to the extent by which you value their opinion. Like straight up. And I'm not even gonna denigrate nobody and start talking about their past. I'm not doing that. I don't need to do that. What I'm gonna say is straight like this, yo. At the end of the day, we know what time it is. We know how black people like to hustle. We know everybody want to talk about game, but they never really talk about the game. So at the end of the day, you feed power into that, like you do, and under the reason politicking matters because politicking is what people do in groups. Politicking is usually not an individual thing because you can always opt to do what's in your own best interest. But unfortunately, and this is why why I get real negative about black people doing things in any real group, because people just can't drop the bullshit. Black people don't understand the concept of sacrifice. And this is true for black men too. When shout out to Max City Limits, that's where I heard that Luciferian syndrome concept. But Luciferian syndrome, what I call Highlander syndrome, like even amongst black men, this stuff exists. And black people can't grow out of that bullshit for some reason. And you're not going to get around that. Speaking the shit is not going to change those things. So like I said before, black love is not measured in what you want. It's measured in what you're willing to sacrifice. And this is why when Kevin talks about duty, why these women get blank. They don't know how to talk or what to say because they're not willing to sacrifice anything. They're not. They're not willing to sacrifice anything for an absolute return on investment. So generally, black women move on sexual attraction and they move on lust. And that just and this is not to say other women don't do it, but we're not talking about other women, are we? I'm not trying to say, well, black women do this or no other way. That's not what we're talking about. That's a deflection. That's a deflection. Oh, well, white, that's a deflection. It's a deflection. We're talking about what you do. Because I didn't grow up with white women. Black men don't trust white women or non-black women like that. Black men are not as vulnerable, like just straight off the rip, to non-black women like they are black women because we're around you. So it's not the same. So saying what white women do is really of no concern to me. And so it's all about maintaining the deception. And my thing is, people will say, oh, well, you talk about all that, so what's the solution? The solution is stop fucking capping. That's what the solution is. Be candid. And be candid even when it hurts. And don't give a fuck about what somebody say. And don't give a fuck about losing some shit. Because you will. Dudes need to stop being afraid to be candid. Now, I'm not going to go as far as tell y'all motherfuckers y'all need to go ahead and sacrifice your job and your employment to be candid. But like when it comes to this social media shit, yeah, there should be no problem with being candid. Women need to be candid and stop giving a fuck about what other women want to say. Some of them are better than others, but even the ones that are better sometimes can be on the bullshit too. They can be overall on the bullshit. But this idea, oh, we just talk to each other, we just stay around, we're just gonna be no. Because understand something, for females that are like sevens, eights, sixes, sevens, and eights, they're gonna be able to use sexual attraction. But what happens when that's not on the table? Like when it's time to be an adult and the puppy love stops, that's when all this shit matters. People miss the point of Kevin shows. Shout out Good Men. Adam Williams maintained the deception. It is deception, and that's the enemy. That's the real enemy, and that's what I speak to, the deception. And people see that as a problem because they need the deception because they buy into what's going on. This is why I say that some people want the community to improve, but they don't want it to change because they want the community to be made more comfortable for what they want to do. That's what they want, but they don't want the community to change. These are not people that actually want the black community to be better. Because in order for because if you understand that the black community is backwards, then you understand that the black community has to change in order to and be competitive. You understand there is no compromise with that, and there is no, well, it needs to change a little bit, or it needs to change so. It needs to change really fundamentally from the ground up. If it's backwards, then if you're backwards, what does that mean? You need to make a 180, not a 90-degree turn, not a 45-degree turn, a 180-degree turn, at least. But whenever we get Kevin is a representation really of a 45-degree turn. And you see how retarded these folks get. You see how retarded they get. They can't handle it. Man, y'all should see what I did to my fucking tablet. I like threw my damn like an idiot through my damn iPad. And man, don't get me started. The touch screen don't work, but luckily I can still use it. But I'm gonna have to get it on. One little mistake, y'all. One little fucking mistake is all it takes. Where are we at? We're at 49 minutes. I just listened to BJ's video where he reviewed Jason Black went full throttle on the gynocracy and Larry Elder was talking about his dad. Yeah, I often refer to that video. I need to download it for Jason Black so I can get rid of it. Jason Black knows what the dynamic. Don't ever. They all do. Like I need to get that clip when Dr. Umar said the black women don't run the black community, they manage the black community for white supremacy. Well, that by definition makes black women a part of the system. That's literally like what we're talking about. That is running the black community. When, like for instance, when France had a puppet government um that were French people to run the France during the occupation, is that not is that not them running it? Same thing with Iraq when we occupied Iraq. We didn't do it. We was the military that was there, and the military was telling what those people what to do, and they saw it just like that. Like let's like, but see, people wanna, you get it. Yeah, and when I'm gonna have that clip because when he said that, he said, "Oh, so you do understand what's going on." That's all I needed to know. So I'm not crazy. Because my question is, why don't you say? Because even Professor Black Truth will tell you, and is when you feed into white supremacy, you cannot get. And I got to shout out. I've been watching Professor Black Truth video in a minute. Hell, I may watch one after I get done with y'all. Elders pissed off the youth so much they glad Kobe ran them on like I know. Yeah, literally means black women. Exactly, Cortez. So like y'all don't gotta believe me. Listen, I just tell y'all where to look. Listen what these motherfuckers are saying. And so again, you know, the way that people like, and I'm gonna end it with this, the way people talk about it is black men don't, it's like opting out is never a real answer because they always want to belittle opting out. Well, at the end of the day, you got to give somebody incentive to opt in. You can't just assume opting in is just a guarantee. Well, other groups do it. That's because other groups have social contracts in order. There are certain things that other groups, like women can't do anything and then dudes are still opting in. That's not how that works because usually dudes use violence to bring them back in line. Black men are not willing to do that. And black men can't do that even if there are willing. So as a result, you're going to have a baseline in place in order for black men to opt in. And see, the problem is black women have had the luxury of benefiting from black men just doing shit just to be doing shit for so long. They don't know how, they literally do not know how. I'm talking about in regarding the black men. They don't know how to do it. Now, I don't give a fuck about that. I really don't. I don't care about that because that's not. I don't say that for you all to empathize, but the reality is, like, empathy is the last thing you should be giving folks. It's like, look, this is the standard. You're either meeting it or you're not. And that was, and Kevin talked about that in that last video. You're either meeting it or you're not. You know, like point blank. Period. Just like how black women have their quote unquote standards, you need to have standards. Like it's nothing personal. I'm not mad. It's like a job application, and you're always being interviewed, always, even when you got the job. That's how. But the question really becomes: are black men really willing to do that? Because that's really the problem. The problem is black women do not believe, and I'm not saying that they're wrong. That black men as a group are willing to do that. Because in order to do that, you have to be willing to exercise alternatives. I've given you alternatives: intercultural dating, interracial dating. I have my preferences, but at the end of the day, that's up to you all. But if you all, and even if you don't want to do none of that, you all, like, here's the thing that I don't understand. This is how you know black men are real fucked up. Black men can't even bluff that they'll do that. Black men have to declare their undying love for the ADOS black woman. For what? Because all you're doing is saying, do what you want to do, and I'm still going to be here. That makes no sense. The only way that makes sense is if you're trying to get money out of it. That's it. But that's not always the case. You got dudes that'll do that and then get no fight. Like think about that bonnet situation. This is how retarded shit is. And a lot of reason black men do it is because they look at black women through the eyes of their mama, which is a problem. So, hey, I'm just here to tell you because at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do, and I'm gonna win. That's why going back to like what you were saying, what Ty C was saying, I don't give a fuck about what Ty City's saying. Personally, I personally think Ty City, is one of these guys where he's kind of like Shane Vicious in that way, where it's like, he's on some non-black bitch shit, which is fine. That's cool. He can be like that. And personally, like if you really want to know what I personally think Ty City is repulsed by black women that either comes from his own situation or whatever, and he has like a reaction to that. So anybody that promotes some shit that he doesn't like in that way, um, he's got something to say about it. Because think about it. Why are you commenting on my channel to that extent? Like, what are you trying to show? Are you trying to show that I'm full of shit? I'm probably one of the most consistent guys. I've been in this space for a while. And honestly, I'm probably one of the most consistent guys in this space. I have not if any, I have not gone left and then gone right. I have not gone up and gone. I don't do that. I've always maintained what I've said because the things that I said up front was very measured and deliberate to begin with. The positions I took on the Coliseum. I didn't need to discover shit and then, I thought this. Now I thought this. Now have I learned some things? Yes. Have I learned a lot of you niggas are just as much of a problem because you all, as David Carroll would say, is intoxicated with impressing that black bitch? Yes. And that is something I did not know was as deep as it was. I also did not know black men were really proposing to black women like that and getting denied. But that's not may have me go left and have me go right. I've always said the same thing about marriage. The problem with marriage is the laws. You fix the laws, you'll probably increase marriage. That's simple. I've never, so people want you to take these like absolute positions. I've always said I date those black because I know how to separate the ones based on how they act, and I'm not willing. Oh yeah, man, but we just fucking. Well, that's how a lot of y'all niggas get a bitch pregnant, and y'all catch a financially transmitted disease, which is something I said at the beginning of my channel. So the reality is what you have, and I'm really commenting more on what he said about me in the past more than what Spliff is talking about. But and he's not the only one that said that. But what you have is dudes that they think they have a right to try to tell you about how you deal with females. And just like how you got dudes in the space that tell you if you deal with a white woman, they'll try to allude that that's because you're weak. That's because you see. I don't allow that bullshit because that's politicking. That gets away from the fucking points. Like this idea that you all need to live in this world where women don't exist, that's not how the real world works anyway. So if you all really have this thing where you all are afraid to really engage with females and you all can't call bullshit out for where bullshit is when you see it, then I don't know what to tell you because that is some incel shit. Where it's like you are literally afraid of engaging with women because you're afraid of you not being disciplined enough to stay on target. I don't know what to tell you. That's a personal problem. And I'm not talking, I'm talking about people in general. And then as far as him, he likes to keep on creating. I've told him this and I've said it. I do not like how he comment. I think he's really speaking out of his station. He really is. And I'm saying it in a nice way. And what Ty City does not understand is people that do that, that's a slippery slope. A lot of dudes have gotten kicked out of the manosphere for doing what he has done. Kid Organic, Big J Triple X. There's a lot of dudes that have done that and they piss the wrong person off. I'm not talking about me, but they piss the wrong person off and then they get collapsed on. And then what's that, the honest truth. So that's a slippery slope critiquing the manosphere where you haven't been in here really long enough. It's like dude came in here 2 years ago and he's sitting here trying to talk about what the manosphere is just trying to be all women and women gonna take over the manosphere. I don't think he really understands the anger that he actually elicits when he says that. The problem is nobody is really threatened by Ty City like that, and there is nothing to really be gained by really throwing him under the bus, which is why people don't use him as a mechanism to try to start a beef. Now, me personally, I don't like beefs, but all it takes is you sparking the wrong fire with the wrong person in the wrong time of day that's about that smoke, and then it's gonna be real bad. Like Fantastic, that type of person, for example. That's all it takes. And then it's like every panel, it's like you constantly getting jumped on. Like, and I'm just saying. And then so like even with that bullshit when he tried to come and meet with Kevin, like that was some foul shit. I don't think he really understands how foul that was. Like he literally ambushed me. He really did. Now if I can handle it, it's kind of like, one of them motherfuckers, they try to take the sword and they try to get you just to test you. I can handle it. But see, there's a lot of people that shit would have started a blood feud. And they would have made it their business to end your fucking channel and make it so the only thing you could do is do that gun shit. But see, he don't understand that because he hasn't been in this space like that. So he don't really know how people can really take shit personal. And he thinks he knows, he don't know. He really don't. Channels, you got people that had 30,000 subscriber channels that have gotten in and they never recovered. But personally, like I said before, don't really mention motherfuckers. I really don't give a shit, number one. And number two, I got better things to do because like I said, there's a reason why I keep shit that I do separate because I know how niggas are. And I'm not really trying to, niggas can't talk about what they don't know. And that's the good thing to leave it at. People can't talk about what they don't know. So a lot of y'all need to stop putting all your shit out there like that. Anyway, it's been a great conversation. We're at 80 people. Make sure you hit me up, on the Cash App. Appreciate the support people have been given. It doesn't, Dick Doug. It's a sexual politicking tactic. It's designed to shame you. And understand that when people shame people, that means they have nothing else. They have no other play to make. Shaming is Hail Marys. Shaming is like throwing Hail Marys. You don't throw Hail Marys when you have a real chance of winning the game. So what? So he's anti-woman? Is that what you're saying? It sounds like somebody that's MGTOW me. And MGTOW, we already know what happened to MGTOW in this space. See, and that's another thing, dude. A lot of dudes are living MGTOW. A lot of dudes are living MGTOW and not claiming it. And I don't like that either. Anyway, with that being said, y'all, this is Edward signing off. Peace.